Now we're ready to apply our extrude. To do that, we want to be in object mode, so we'll exit out of sub-object mode by clicking on the spline button again. And we can go back to our select object tool just to declutter the interface a little bit. We don't need to see that move gizmo. And now let's apply our modifier. That's done by choosing it from the modifier list. That's a pull-down list up here. Click on the down-facing arrow, and we want to scroll down a little bit. We're looking for extrude. Not face extrude, but just plain old ordinary extrude. This will operate on spline curves. Select that, and it's added to the top of that editable spline object. Now we have two entities here in the modifier stack. So the stack goes from bottom to top, and as we continue to add things, we can get more and more complex effects. That extrude modifier is currently selected. If we selected editable spline, we'd see all of its parameters and tools. If we choose the extrude modifier, we have access to all of its parameters and tools. We need some amount to the extrude. Right now, it's just creating a polygon shape that has a height of 0. If we dolly in with Control Alt and middle mouse, we'll see it actually is solid. It's got a shape. Okay, I'll zoom back out again with the Z key. Give it some non-zero amount. We could click and drag on that and give that some height. Let's give it a precise value of 4 meters and press Enter. There's more options in here. For example, there's capping. We could turn caps on and off. Let's keep them on in this case. Or we could choose to output to different object types. We're going to leave that at mesh. All right, that's pretty cool. We've got our extruded shape. The beauty of 3ds Max and the modifier stack is that it permits a non-destructive workflow, which is quasi-parametric.